that bad? Yeah, it's that bad. Today, on Jason Reviews Records, Trout Mask Replica by Captain Beefheart and his magical band. Or magic band? Magic band. Magic band. Oh boy.
I saw you, baby, dancing in your X-ray gingham dress. I knew you were under duress. I knew you under your dress. Just keep coming, Jesus, you're the best dress. You look down here.
I just finished the first disc, side 1 and 2, and let me preface this, or preface this, however you like to say it. I've listened to this album front to back, beginning to end, probably at least 3 times before today. And I remember reading an interview years ago where somebody said, you need to listen to this album at least 6 times, and even after the 6th time, it's not going to sound any good. I tend to disagree with that criticism.
A squid eating dough in a polyethylene bag is fast and bulbous. Got me?
Apparently David Lynch thinks that this album is his favorite of all time.
Quiet in a rain, rain down our last of ashes. Look at how it's shining, red, white, and blue.
Red, white, blue.
All the children screaming, why surely, madam, you must be dreaming. You couldn't have done this if you knew what you were doing. Oh lady, look up in time, oh lady, look out of love, and you should have us all, oh you should have us fall. Sweet, 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 sweet balls go in Molly's garden.
Incest, speckled, speculation. Bedrocks, bottling feast, arcade faces frenzy, ceramic fit dream, wet meat, limp and rose, healed and felt. A man gotta live, a man gotta eat, a man gotta have shoes to walk out on the street. I don't want to kill my China beauty.
I feel that, and maybe this is just me, maybe this is how I was brought up with music, maybe this has something to do with the music I enjoy versus that of the average music critique who is critiquing a wide variety of music, and he's trying to do it for the masses, not for the minority. But for me, upon first hearing this album, I was in high school. My father played it for me, and I can't remember if it was the CD or if it was the vinyl. I'm pretty sure it was probably his CD copy of it. And he let me borrow it. And I remember at first hearing it, I was like, what? What is this?
One yellow butterfly the same size. Its droppings were tiny green monstrous worms that moved in tuck and rolls and cracks and whispered in their confinement. 3 little birds got staked windows several yards away. Mouths open to touch and vibrated and lost saliva. Phoenix exclaimed, "That's raspberries."
serious, Dad? And so that was kind of weird. You know, I was like, all right, okay, interesting. Thanks, Dad. You know, because I was probably like 15, maybe 16. So, it was interesting. And, you know, I borrowed the CD and I listened to it and I gave it a good, solid playthrough. I mean, I listened to it because I was like, well, you know, there has to be something to it. And also in the 90s, it's not like I had anything more important to do in the 90s but listen to the most extreme alternative music out there. So criticism you can give this album. You know, the average person is going to say, this sucks. They're not even trying. They're out of tune. There's a dissonance that's maybe even done on purpose. I don't like that. And if you feel that way about this album, you're right.
Why do you have to do this? Got to force me. Why do you have to do this? Got to force me.
Now, then there's also, well, it's art. They spent 8 months locked away in a house, living off of welfare and handouts to make this album. And, you know, it's crazy that they made this. They spent 8 months practicing this to sound this way. And when you hear about that, you're almost like, no, dude, I can go in the studio right now. I can go and make something as halty, poor timing, dissonance, with dissonance. Like, I know what that means anyways. And, you know, I could do that myself in seconds. But could I repeat it?
Run, there breaks with filthy chatter. Oh, I don't care, there's no place there. I don't think it matters. My skin's blazing through and my clothes in tatters. And the railroad looked like a Y up the hill of ladders. One shoe fell on the gravel, one stick poked down. Gray of age fell down on a pair of ears.
I do it, record it, throw it away, and then like a month later go on tour and play exactly note for note what I did? No, I could not. I just couldn't. It wouldn't work. I just would not be able to do that. And I think once you look at it from that angle and you go, oh, all right, well, that's interesting. So they purposely spent a lot of time practicing, and it said, I remember reading somewhere it said they spent up to 14 hours a day trying to do this album just before they went into the studio. So to me, when I hear that, it's like, all right, well, what am I missing? And I think that's the angle a lot of people take with this when they listen to it. They're like, well, what the heck am I missing? Well, you know what you're missing? You're missing the point.
Right, just dig it. That's right, the mascara, stay fast and focused. Tight also.
of making this album. And if you don't get the point by listening to it, you probably need to go and, I don't know, do something. Just put the album away. You don't need it. What? Are they trying to simulate creatures dying in the ocean? Obnoxious saxophone. Yes. Because if you can't hear the point of this album, then you're not the intended audience. And it's okay. You don't have to get all music. You don't have to be able to put a record on. Sometimes stuff you like or you don't like. Does this suck? No, it doesn't suck. So it's story time. When I was in middle school, I picked up the tenor saxophone. Why? I don't know. It looked bigger and cooler than like the alto sax, so I was like, yeah, awesome, right? No, it wasn't awesome. It was pretty sick. It was pretty, yeah, it was a bad time in my life. Anywho, when I would get frustrated, which wasn't very often because it's a very simple instrument, pretty straightforward, there's no real craziness to it. But when I would get frustrated, I would do that on my saxophone. No one ever agreed that it was good. Oh, cool, the song's coming in. This is actually not too bad so far. Alright, let's rate this guy. I'm going to give this 2 ratings. Rating 1 is going to be the rating that all the normal people in the world, all the people who listen to music to feel good and feel happy, this is the rating that I feel that they should look at before they pick this up. Because when you go on here, AllMusic gave this thing 5 stars, Q gave this 5 stars, Rolling Stones just gave it favorable, the Rolling Stone Album Guide gave it 5 stars, Pitchfork gave it 10 out of 10. And I feel that's a little misleading. I feel like somebody would be like, oh wow, 10 out of 10, oh, Rolling Stones, wow, 5 stars, what? This has to be phenomenal. It was like rated really high, like 58 or 60 on the Rolling Stone Guide of All Time ratings. I just feel like that's a disingenuous rating for an album that is mostly unlistenable to by the majority of people out there. I give this my outright frontal rating that you should totally go by if you are somebody who doesn't like anything weird. I give this 1.5 stars out of 5 because the majority of it is unlistenable to from a music aspect. Now, let's stop right there. Here's my second rating, and this is how I really feel about this album. I have to give this 5 out of 5 stars, not because I'm pretentious or I'm artsy or I want to redeem myself to anyone who really likes this kind of stuff. No, I give it 5 out of 5 because I understand that this is high art, that these guys spent something like 8 months penned up in a small house together, practicing up to 14 hours a day to make it sound specifically exactly like this. So they could go on the road and replicate line by line, note for note, timing for timing, this album, and that's not only a difficult task to do, it's really easy to practice a normal sounding song, you know. It's normal, it's easy to do that. Anyone can do that. I mean, if you've never picked up a guitar, it might take you a while to learn it and all that, but I can, seconds later, I can... See, I can get back into it, I can do it again. I don't have to spend 8 months trying to get the timing, the verbose, the musicality of it down. And I feel that most people just don't understand that. These guys lived off of welfare. Captain Beefheart was kind of a douchebag and an asshole, so he pretty much treated these guys like shit just so he could get this to sound that way, and so they can play it consistently like that. And I have to wholeheartly just applaud the effort. There are tracks on here that I'm like, hell yeah, this is actually good. Not because it's, you know, like something you'd hear on top 40 radio, but because it's something that just strikes a chord in me. But what do I know? I listen to death metal on purpose, so your mileage may vary. Thank you again for checking out my channel, checking out my review on a very wild album. I hope you enjoyed. I have more videos coming up in the future, and I'll be doing somewhat more normal or more popular bands in the future, so look forward for that. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason, and keep listening to bad music. Thanks.